Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today we have an unboxing. This one comes courtesy of the Airsoft Megastore. These guys have been really awesome to me and have provided me a couple of guns for review and gameplay, and this one I think I'm going to do both with. It's a very unique gun. Obviously you know what it is by the title, but let's open it up, see what it comes with, how it loads, and how it shoots, and I'll tell you what plans I have for it. So stay tuned, let's unbox this thing. Alright, let's do this quickly because I'm anxious to see what's in here. I haven't opened it, so this is a pretty realistic unboxing. Alright. So, well packaged as you would expect. Wow, that's hefty. Alright, so here's what we're here for. The APS, wait, where the heck's the name of it? APS CAM870, I think I'm getting the name right. It's a shell ejecting shotgun. Let's see what's in here. As you can see, it's really well packaged. Kind of reminds me of the HK packaging. Even the compromise is not an option. That's kind of like their tagline. I think it's no compromises. So let's open it up. Alright, so it looks like it's a brand new model. Oh, they already put the mount on here. Awesome. Instructions, and then you got pieces here for the shotgun shells to keep the BBs in, I believe. I'm gonna have to look over this because this is very unusual. Usually I pull out a gun like an AG and I pretty much throw the instructions away once I find where the hop-up is. But this is a whole new bag of worms, so definitely holding on to these. Put them aside. So it looks like they threw in some shells here, some extras. I think this gun only comes with 2 shells. So got a couple shells here, and there's a couple more boxes. These are pretty pricey, so I'm glad they gave me a few because I actually plan on using this thing in the game, which I know sounds ridiculous, but I think it could be an awesome gameplay video if I could get any kills with it. So let's put those aside. Now here's the tool that you load the cartridges with. This is my biggest concern really because using this in the game I'm going to have to reload in between rounds. So I hope this is not a super complicated process to load the shells. Hopefully it takes maybe under a minute for each shell. Even that's a long time. So we'll have to try that out. Then we got this. That's the thing that's part of the load as well. I think this is where the CO2 goes in. We have the shell catcher, which to me kind of defeats the whole purpose of having this gun. I understand it's a pain in the butt, and if you only use it in the game, it'll be good to catch the shells in the real game, but if you're catching the shells, why have a shell ejecting shotgun? You might as well get a Springer or the M870 by Marui if you're just trying to be practical. This is not practical. This is fun. So we got the shell catcher. Then we have these little guys. I believe they go in the shells to keep the BBs in. They kind of, they're sort of arrowhead shaped. Couple pins. That's probably the pins from the body that this mount replaced. Oh, and we have more of these little BB keepers that go into the shells. And the main thing, of course, this guy. Woo! Man, this thing is sweet. It's got the slide release like a real shotgun. And you can see there's already a mount on here. This does not come with a gun. I asked them for this because I love my optics, so I was gonna have to get this anyway. Luckily, they already included it, so I'm good to go. Throw my EOTech on here, and we'll see how this thing works. So let me clean up here, and we'll talk a little bit about the gun. But first, this. So when I last left off, I was going to load these shells, but then I quickly realized I'm not really sure how to do that because it's a very unusual process, so I thought I'd actually try the manual. I opened it up, I couldn't find anything on there about the loading process. I don't know if a piece of the manual is missing, but the one I have here does not have that. So some research, it was kind of tough to find actually. I didn't really find the process in its entirety. So I kind of had to figure out some parts of it, but basically you take the charger, it comes in 2 pieces. You take this part, open it up, and you put 2 CO2 12-gram cartridges in there. One goes in head first towards the brass part here, and the other one goes butt first. So they're both pointing with the pierceable end towards the outer extremities of this container. So then you screw in this back piece with the 2 CO2 cartridges into this kind of pressing piece, and then you tighten it down in the back, which will puncture the cartridges and gas will flow. Make sure this valve is closed so then it doesn't just shoot out forward. Then loading the shells, you got to do it one at a time. You got to put the shell in first and slide it up so the little firing pin, I guess, pops out in the back. Then go ahead, tighten this down so you clamp it in there. Once that's done, loosen this valve wheel. That will flow the gas. I think you're supposed to do it for about 3 seconds. I don't think you could really screw it up. Close it up, then pull the shell back, and then undo the wheel, and then the shell will slide out. So that is how you gas up the shell, and you got to do this for each one, obviously, and once you shoot it, it's spent. Then the next part is you take one of these, I don't know what you call them, they're kind of replacement for the wad in the real shotgun. Drop it in there, the wings will fold in and make a nice seal for the gas to push out all the BBs. Then drop in BBs, about 10 or 12, and you take one of these cardboard stamped cutouts and you drop it on top to keep the shells in. It's pretty simple and will hold them really well. I did the shaking test and nothing's coming out, and I haven't had one fail yet. I did do this last night, so any video you see, the shells have sat overnight, so I think they lost some of their power just because it's such high pressure gas and there's got to be some minor leaks, but luckily all of them shot and all of them held overnight, so that's a really good sign. And the loading process is actually a little easier than I thought it would be. It does take time, but I could probably load all these shells in about maybe 10-15 minutes. 14 shells here, so yeah, you could figure it out, about a minute per shell. So then I chronoed the gun. Again, it was after an overnight sit, so I think some of the pressure went down. The FPS was pretty low. I was shooting .2s on the chrono. So from what I remember, I think it was like high 100s, low 200s. Shooting in the backyard, the range was pretty decent, especially within 60 feet. The nice thing is this gun has no inner barrels. It just has a big opening like a normal gun would. So you could put whatever you want in there. You could probably put gummy bears in there if you wanted to. So this might be a good place to actually use .12 BBs. It'll give you a bigger spread, more range, more velocity, and it'll just cover whatever you're shooting at. So I'll probably try some .12s in there, see how that works out. For something like this, it might actually be a good option. I've gone ahead and set up the gun the way I want to have it when I actually use it in the game. I put a barrel clamp on here, which gives me 2 rails. On the left side I put a flashlight, so I could have that before I shoot. Once I shoot, pull back and get back on it. On this side I have a dual Mobius mount, and you'll see how it looks in the video. On the back I put a 1-point sling that clips in here just to give me some retention, because I got a feeling I'll be going to my secondary a lot with this gun. And then since I asked the guys at AMS to install the rail, it's already on here. I put my hollow sun optic on here. I did have the EOTech, but it was just too gigantic for this gun. So this is a nice sight. It's a micro sight, and it's pretty easy to pick up in the heat of the battle. So it's ready to go. I'm still not exactly sure how I'm going to carry the shells, because you need to have pretty quick access to them on the field. But I'll figure something out, and that's what you'll have to stay tuned for the gameplay for. So that's the basic overview of the gun. It's very realistic, as you can tell. It's a lot of fun to shoot, especially in the backyard where the pressures of the game don't get to you. You could kind of focus on just loading, reloading, and tracking those shots. But I think it has a lot of potential in the game. The place I plan to take it is basically playing inside a house, so range is not that much of an issue. It does have decent range for that, but that firepower is going to be pretty impressive. 12 BBs or 10 BBs coming at you. Big thanks to Airsoft Megastore for sending this to me. They've been really cool to work with. They asked me what I wanted to try, and I've been eyeballing this gun for a while. So here it is. Big thanks to them. Make sure you check them out if you're looking for this gun or any other airsoft stuff. And stay tuned for the gameplay. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.